Greetings, listeners, and welcome to The Spiritual Experience, a show where we share stories of life, love, and redemption for all of humanity on Earth. So sit back and enjoy. Try to identify with the speakers and not compare. Don't forget to subscribe on all podcast platforms. I'm your host, Jay Lewis, and here we go. Hey everybody, welcome back. Spiritual Experience. I hope everybody had a great holiday, and I hope you had a good holiday season. Now the new year is upon us, and here we are. And it's I guess, there's some people, who maybe will start off the year right out of the gate, making all of their New Year's resolutions and, making all these changes. And a lot of times, that I see that a lot, and it's very admirable. And sometimes I do that. And I'm in a position now where, oh man, I've been swimming and living in fear for the last couple of days. Really just like, I wouldn't say debilitating because I've been able to get up and function, but like haunting fear. I made this subconscious commitment to myself, that I would start waking up earlier to start my day earlier with like exercise and things like that. So then that way that was just the change that I wanted to make, that if I get up an hour earlier, I can still do my routine in the morning and get along my way. And I've been waking up that hour earlier, but instead of taking actions, I've just been really stewing and just, I've been laying there stewing, going through social media and looking at all these, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I'm basically just running from my progress that I want to make. And I had a really good 2021. If that was the year before. Yeah, I had a really good 2021. I have a really good life. But at the same time, it's in constant motion. I could never stay still. I always have something that I'm working on, something that I'm working towards. And when I'm thinking about it now, it's just that fear was, am I going to be doing more of the same from last year? There's always things that I was doing that I want to stop doing, or I want to get away from. A lot of it has to do with procrastination. I have some financial insecurities. I have lifestyle changes that I'm making when it comes to my finances, how to invest extra money that I have, how to create extra money so I can invest extra money. Those things, my physical well-being, which is like the fuel for all of that other stuff in my professional career, and even with creating this show. A lot of times the way that I get through a lot of doubt is by doing exercise, and I had like this cold for the last maybe 4 or 5 days that's just clearing up now. And that cold has been having me make excuses in my head about why I can't exercise when I get up early, or why I can't do these things that I want to do. And I've been listening to that, and I've been falling prey to that, and it sucks. So like I wrote this list that I'm looking at now. I don't really want to read it, but that was like the first step was this morning was getting on the Peloton bike and taking a short class, because this is the first day that I'm feeling better and my nose is not running all the way to the moon. But I told myself like, oh, you've been sick. Maybe you should ease yourself back into it. And all of this whole story. So I took a 15-minute class where I just basically broke a sweat. And typically when I'm on my game, I can take a 45-minute class, and the first maybe 5 or 10 minutes or 5 minutes or so is absolute torture, where like I'm I want to quit every moment of that. And I have to use these instructors who are very motivational, because I need motivation. Sometimes my brain is, I was telling my kid on the way to school today when I dropped him off, I said, listen, my brain is my worst enemy. And right now I am driven by 100 forms of fear. That's what they call it in the book, in the AA book, Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, that we're driven by 100 forms of fear. And the only way for me to get out of that fear is to actually just take action and do things. And it's not always easy to just take act, to just do it. Like, you know, like Nike, just do it. So I've been sitting and stewing for a few days, and then just half measuring it. Oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'll do this a little bit, and then I'll do that. But I won't do it I will take the actions that will give me half of the result that I'm looking for, if any. And then I'll say, well, this is another good reason for me to be depressed, and that I'm a loser, and that I missed the boat. And then I start going over my life saying, okay, well, of course you're a loser. Look at all these other boats you missed. And then I start rattling off different things where I missed the boat on this. I missed the boat on this. Let's just say, you know, I missed the boat. I left a job because of my addiction maybe when I was 19 years old. Yeah, 19. I was working on a trading floor, and my company had merged with another company, and I was already, and I had some talent for what I was doing there. I did. And I could have, who knows, I could have made maybe a really good trader. I don't know. But I was there. So the opportunity was there, but I obviously was not prepared. So, and we were merging with a company with a guy that I didn't like. And at 19 years old, my ego was so big that I was like, fuck this guy. I don't want to work. I'm not going to work with him. I'm going to leave. And I started going towards a different avenue. I turned my rudder, just shifted without any thought, without any foresight, without anything. It just did. I just left. And what happens? This guy that I didn't want to be around for no reason but my own judgment. I don't even know. He was a little bit of a dick, but I guess he was good at what he did. And there were some rumors that he was a little bit of a thief or whatever. I don't know 100% what was going on. But it was him and another clerk. They had a 2-man operation. And from the time that I left there, within like 3 years, he ended up with building one of the biggest operations on the floor. And it was huge, and he was printing money. They were printing money, and they were killing it, and all of these other things that I could have been a part of in one way or another. And I think he liked me, or he liked the idea of me, because I was young, and I was full of, I guess, the ego stuff. But I was full of bravado, whatever. I was full of the whole thing. I had the whole package. And the most important part was that I was easily led. So he could have told me to do anything, and I would have done it. Because at that age, legal or not legal, I would have just did it, because I was, I'm very gullible. If I haven't said that already, I am, even to this day. I'm very gullible, that I have to watch myself. So I'm saying that to say that so I start thinking about those things, and then he became like a big deal. And then at the end of that, when electronic trading and everything came in, if you were a member of the exchange and you had a seat, I think they paid you millions of dollars for no reason, just to give up your seat. And now everything is electronic and there's no floor trading and whatever. So looking back, I look back at my life and I manufacture my own failures when the only thing I did was just really, I just chose a different path. But I never look back and be like, whew, I dodged a bullet, I always look back at, hey, I could have been great, and then you're a loser because you chose this other thing. So it's very rare that I look back with positivity. And I have to work towards positivity in my life. And those of you who know me who are like, oh, you're just this incredibly positive person all the time. And many times it's true, but I have to do a lot of work to stay that way. Now, a lot of work means what? A lot of work is me tricking my brain and just I wouldn't say turning it off, but trying to get the right perspective on the situation at hand and what I can do and what I can't do to change that. So, this morning or yesterday too, there's things that there's always something that I'm running from. And it's hard to face on your own. So and the things that I'm running from are actions, or the things that I'm running from. I'm running from greatness. I'm running from the bag. I'm running from admiration. I'm running from myself. I'm running from my potential. Who I want to be is based on my actions. So there are tough phone calls that I have to make when it comes to work. And I just have to make them. And they're not life-threatening in any way or any of this kind of stuff. But again, I manufacture my impression of the truth is always negative, and it's never really helpful when I'm just doing it on my own. So that's why I guess what I had to do this morning was just really make a list of the things that I'm going to do, and then I just jumped on the bike and I just started doing what I wanted to do, or what I needed to do to turn the rest of that noise off and to turn my days around or my week around, one action at a time. And there's a lot of stuff going on. The Omicron stuff is rampant, and the negativity is rampant, and the fear is rampant. And I have to be very frank with all of you that even if that stuff wasn't going on, I would probably still feel the same way. Regardless of what's going on Earth, I have this brain that tells me things that are just negative. And I have this, and it's something that I live with. It doesn't go away, and I don't take medication. What I do is I just ask for extra help, and I do that by asking my higher power, who I have a relationship with, in order to give me a little bit of relief. I do it by, sharing some of these things with other people and letting them help me make a plan and where I want to go with my day, where I want to go with my week, where I want to go with my life, because I don't want to stop evolving, and I don't want to feel helpless, and I don't want it to be Groundhog's Day. And that's what that fear-based, I'll call it, that's what the disease, I'll just say that instead of me sitting here trying to figure out how to even describe it. I don't want the disease to really win. And it wins one little swipe at a time. And the more successes that I have and the more gratification that I get and the more happy I become, the more I stop a little bit at a time. I succumb to those little swipes because I say to myself, oh, but look at where I am now. I can rest. And when I rest, the rest becomes stopping. It's very hard to keep going. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't need a break here and there, because I do. And I do. I do need a break. And sometimes that break can last longer than I want. But I know it's always detrimental to me. And everybody has their own life. There are people who are completely happy being in break mode as soon as they can. They get up, they go to work, they come home, they gotta relax. And to them, that's what that means. That means just sitting around, maybe watching TV, watching Netflix, whether or not they do a strenuous job or a not strenuous job, or maybe just dealing with their life puts them in a position where they feel like they have to relax. And they come home and they eat whatever, and maybe they don't exercise, they don't take care of themselves, and if they develop some kind of illness as we're getting older in life, maybe you get high blood pressure, maybe you're overweight, you're just like, okay, well, let me just take a pill that the doctor's going to give me a pill for high blood pressure. I guess I take high blood pressure pills now. Or, to develop, consistency, they have an aversion to doing that. And being consistent is the hardest thing that I have to deal with. Learning how to stay positive for me is really just boils down to how consistent I am. And what that means is that I got to hold myself accountable. Accountability is everything. Yesterday I was driving around and I've been doing really good with the food for a while. And, I have cheat days here and there or whatever, but I knew that I was depressed and I knew that I was sad, and I was just sitting in my car and I said, let me go. And I knew I needed to eat something. It was that time of the day. I was like, I got to put something in my stomach. And I went and I bought like one of those iced out honey buns. And I sat in the car and the first 4 bites were tremendous. Like Joey Diaz style. Fucking tremendous. They were tremendous. And then, because I guess the dopamine, you get that hit. I was like, oh man, look at all this sugar. Look at all this stuff. And then within, 30 minutes or so, I was anxious and it just didn't work. It didn't work. But I could see myself, and there were times in my life where that was my cycle, just bump after bump after bump after bump of serotonin. If that's I don't know the words. Serotonin, dopamines, these other things, these outside things that are not making me progress, but they're just distractions, these outside distractions that make me feel better for the moment. And then I was chasing those moments. And then I was never getting anywhere. And I was staying a step or two ahead of that fear, that mediocrity that I'm scared of. I'm scared of being mediocre because I know that I can be great. And I feel better trying to be great. I feel so empowered and I feel at my best when I'm trying to be great. And being great just means to me, how can I help other people? That's what that means to me. It's not financial. There's financial motivations in my life, but it's not really for myself. It's really for other people. I was talking with this guy one time, and we were just talking about real estate, and we were talking about how, what's the goal? Is the goal to have, 100 doors or whatever it is? And I was listening to this podcast, Bigger Pockets, and it's tough because when I listen to that, and it's a great, fantastic show for anybody who wants to get involved in real estate and doesn't believe that they have the means, or the means just means the education. Once you educate yourself a little bit, and the first part is educating yourself on knowing that you are not the only one that is a freaking white belt at anything. So you find a community, and the Bigger Pockets community is incredible. It's so good that I have to stop myself from listening to it all the time, because it will remind me of what I'm not doing. It will remind me of like, oh man, I could also be doing this. Either way, so there was this one guy who was on there. I think he was one of the co-hosts. I don't remember everybody's names, and I'm sorry about that. I'm going to blame the vaccine for my brain fog, or what do they call that? The Alzheimer's that's coming ahead of schedule or whatever. But either way. So this gentleman, I really admired him. He said that he has all these properties, and when I mean all, maybe he's got 100 properties or something. They call them doors. So if you have one property that has 2 doors, then it's like 2 properties. He just keeps getting them and keeps getting them, and he never raises the rent. He gets good people in there, and he just leaves it. And the cash flow comes. That's a good deal. So the house, let's say he's got a 2-family house, and the house is rented. He has maybe, let's say, $300 cash flow at the end of the month. So his goal is to have 10 of those, and then you have 3,000, and then maybe 20 of those, and you have 6,000. And if you have to raise the rent, maybe like very small, like incrementally, if you have to. But he just doesn't do it. He's like, listen, I'd rather have all of these properties, 100 properties, each door giving me, $150 a month or $200 a month in profit. But then people have a place to live that's affordable for them, and they can stay there, and they can build their own life, and they can raise their own children, and they can have he's helping them achieve their life stream. Maybe they can finally save up to buy their own house or their own whatever. And then somebody else will come, and then they'll be in the same position. And that when he talked about that, I was like, that's my kind of goal. Is, how can I help as many people as I can? And I can only do that by, constant taking action and trying to be great. Trying to be great. And I think, just talking about it makes me feel better, because that's like my purpose. Steve Harvey said it one time. He says the best thing you could do for poor people is not be one of them, because then you can't help out the cause. So this year, the little bit of real estate that I have now, I don't have anything. I mean, I don't have any rentable properties. I have some vacant lots that we bought in Detroit 5-6 years ago that hopefully, most likely have appreciated in value. And we got to take the steps to maybe unload them and start buying some rentals, and have some other money that's like set aside or whatever. But, to create more financial freedom for myself by helping as many people as I can and not thinking about the margin of how much money can I make. Like, how much do I really need, to be honest? Like, how much do I really need? I just really need enough that I can just keep buying back more free time. That's what it's about. I don't need a bigger apartment or a house. I don't need more physical things. I just need more time to do the things that I love, like hanging out with you guys and talking and going to meetings and helping people online. There are people who message me all the time that they were going through something, and then I said something or I posted something. Like, there was this kid who I worked with my second to last job. No, it was my last job in finance. I was a prop trader. That's what I was doing, a proprietary trader. I put a little bit of money into a big pot, and they gave me a bunch of money to sling around, and I made some money, and then I lost some money, and then eventually I got blown out. But this guy who I worked with over there, he was a great guy, and I always liked him. I just did. I just always liked him, and he was a young kid, and he was like training people, and he was doing, he was just a young kid. He was wherever he was at, and he was trying to be a stand-up comedian, and he was just a lovely kid, and I liked him. So, and you never know what kind of impact that you have on that you have on people, So the point is that, he sent me a message. I forgot where. Maybe it was on Instagram or maybe it was on Facebook. I'm not exactly sure. But I didn't really know, what was going on. Oh, he said, because I wished him happy birthday. And I'm going to read it to you. He says, "Hey, Jay, thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate you, ! Also, rule number 1, I live by it." He says, "I'll never forget you being there for me when I needed it most. You had a strong impact on my life. It means the world to me, and I just want you to know that." And that was nice because I could not, for the life of me, recall what the hell he's talking about. I couldn't. I can't. If you ask me, like, "Oh, did you have a sit down with him? Or what'd you do? Did you help him do this? Did you help him that?" I don't know. I don't remember. I think I was just his friend. And then maybe I was just being positive with him. Or I honestly, I don't know. I don't even want to know. But it reminded me of my purpose, which is I want to spend my days and my life giving people good experiences with not just with me, but I guess with life. I spoke about this with my boy Tommy when he came to sit down with us, that I want this part of my day to be the best part of my day. And when whomever I encounter, I want that interaction to be, maybe it doesn't have to be the best part of their day because I don't have to, put that much pressure. But how about make it not the worst part of their day, regardless of the situation? I was in a situation yesterday where, somebody wasn't completely happy with some of the work that I had done, for them. And I could smell the tension and whatever, and I just kept my head down. I kept doing what I needed to do, and my helper was there with me. And then when we were finished, she, I knew that part of the problem was me. And, it's just one of those things where sometimes in life it's Murphy's Law. What, you can have a job or you can, you do something for somebody and everything goes wrong. And it was one of those things. So I could have sat there and just gave a list of, okay, this went wrong because of this, and this went wrong because of this, and this went wrong because of this. Some of it is my doing some of it is just, this is freaking life, and this is why this happened and why you didn't have a great experience. But instead of just going down that whole rabbit hole, when she asked me what she owed, I said, listen, I just looked at her and I was like, nah, you don't owe me anything. Don't worry. You know, I'm grateful that I'm in a position that I could even do that. That I can just say, listen, when I screw up, this one is on the arm. I don't need anything. And it's okay. And I want you to have a good experience, even if that experience is, this guy screwed this thing up, but you know what? He owned it. He didn't charge me for it, and it wasn't a big deal. And I'll never call him again or whatever. But listen, I can't say that he's a dirtbag. And that's, it goes into what the other guy was saying about all those properties. You know, just doing it for the greater good and forgetting about short-term personal gains. Because the long-term personal gain is if I try, or when I try and help as many people as I can, I don't live in that fear. And I don't, I don't live in that depression. So I can just go out there and try and help people, but not in a way of, we call it, in recovery, we call it hiding out in the rooms. I can hide out by helping people and sacrifice myself by helping people. You know, and I can just say, no. And, you know, I'm going to give all my time and all my emotional and mental energy to you, because in reality, I'm actually running from myself. And that's not healthy for me, because eventually I have to be with myself by myself. So what I need to do is incorporate my own goals and successes with the love and success of other people. If I can help other people become successful, and in turn I will become even more successful. And I know that that's what it is for me. That's where I get the most bang for my buck. That's where I get the most bang for my time. Even if it's just me being an example for somebody else that, hey, listen, man, you can start your day over at any time. This guy started off crazy, and then now he's feeling better, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I can just do that. And just being honest with myself, being honest with all of you about where I am. So, you know, I feel better even just getting this stuff off my chest and refocusing on my purpose, which is, you know, to get to the top. You know, and the top is the amount of love that I can spread. That's the top. The amount of, that's it. The amount of love that I can spread, and the amount of time that I can spend with other people, helping them spread that love, if they choose to. You know, if they're not happy, love is the answer. That's the answer. It's the answer. You know, who else says that? Elon Musk says that. Love is the answer. And there's so many people who hate him. And I don't know, or whatever. But love is the answer. And that's going to be it for today. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day, week. Please don't forget to, share yourself with other people. And share yourself, with other people and other things. You know, you can go and you can go into nature, and you can, share your presence. And I think, and in a positive way, and the impact, both internally and externally, is going to be phenomenal. All right, guys, have a great day. Peace. We want to thank you all for joining us today. And please don't forget to like and subscribe on all podcast platforms. and find us on Facebook where you can become part of our family. We'll see you around.